Hey everybody, this is Lucas with my first tutorial. Today we're going to be creating a looping graphic in TouchDesigner. TouchDesigner is generally used for generative and real-time stuff, so it's a little tricky to get a perfect loop out of it. So this tutorial is useful if you want to use something that you've created here as a loop for like a VJ show, or wherever you could have something that doesn't have any seams. As great touch tutorial lists have done, they start by deleting the network. So first thing we're gonna do is bring in the noise. I have this available in the description. This one is special because first, let me connect it to the out so that you can see it. What's special about this is that it's locked to the timeline, which is important because most things in Touch are not. And that makes looping things very hard. Okay, so in this loop you have the image, of course, as well as some data that the loop is based on. So you'll see here the X, the Z, and the W. That's what's animating the noise, and it's not actually random. So you see kind of bounce back there. And that's based on a sine and cosine wave that are moving together using the frame. And we get this value from 0 to 1 by dividing the total frames with the current frame. To start, let's add the mirror effect before we add complexity. So I'm just going to duplicate this mirror and mirror itself a couple times. I have the first one set to 0, so that's 0 is the horizontal. Second one, let's set the rotate to 60. The third one, 270. And it's really looking pretty cool. Just finish it off. And of course you can experiment by turning things on and off, changing values. I think that looks pretty rad, so let's go with that for this tutorial. Move that close to the out and give us a little bit more room. And so that's already pretty cool, but let's add some complexity. A simple way to do it is using the Displace. And what it does is it moves a pixel based on the second input here. So to illustrate that, we can plug in a ramp and you'll see it's already shifting some pixels around. With this ramp and with these values, we can create an infinite looping ramp such as this. Okay, set it to radial if we want. I'm looking at this now, and if we don't want this harsh edge coming in here, we're going to set the extend left to mirror, and that mirrors this ramp over one. But as you see, if you notice, it's no longer looping, and that's because it's repeating this this period over one. So we need to double our phase. And there we go. That should do it. All right. Put that over here. So another thing we can do is we could displace it with itself. Whoa. And I've dragged out a blur here as well, which can give you some more effects as well. All right, I'm pretty stoked about this. Let's export it. We're going to use movie file out. On type, you set it to image sequence, image type JPEG. Limit the length to the length of your timeline. I'm going to generate these files where you saved it. Let's name it Kaleidoscope. All right, and then once we start from 1, can hit record and then hit play. And that'll start pulling out the images. All right, all done in Touch. Open up Blender. So you can use any image compositing software. You could use After Effects, but Blender is free, and so I'm going to share how I use this to composite the image sequence. First, you set the resolution, 800 by 600. Our frame rate, we are working in 60. Our total frames is going to be 600, so you go 0 to 599. Set your output. There it is. Okay, so you got your output set. You can dig more into encoding and post-processing through other Blender tutorials. I won't get into that. Okay. So I'm going to navigate to the image sequence. You'll see I exported something previously. Here's the kaleidoscope that we just made. Add this strip. Make sure it's starting at 0 here and ending at 599. Another thing you can do is you can scroll to the end, play it back, and make sure it's seamless. Okay, and once everything looks good, you're going to go up to the top left, go to render and hit render animation, and that's going to send your video to your output folder. Okay. All right, and from here we are done. We have our loop. Over here. Here it is. Cool. Hey, PS. I want to give you some more detail on the noise loop component. You've got the animate speed here. If you wanted to increase, decrease, you can. Bring it all the way down. The seed is useful to switch up the colors, switch up the what's going on, and then period, if you want to add more density, you can. Less density, bring it all the way out if you like. Harmonics, exponent. Yeah, I mean, you can play around with all of them. It's most of the things from a general noise setting. Monochromatic. Okay, I also go into a little bit of detail of how it works. So it's pulling from the timeline, and then you divide that to give you a 0 to 1, and then you look up a sine and a cosine. That way it's moving through this wave. That gives you that loop, and then you take these numbers and you apply it to the noise. One of them's transforming the timeline as well as the Z. Yep, that's it. And I've merged some of the useful things here, and then you've got the two outs. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. If you need to, you can download this in the description. I hope you find this useful. Bye.